Hey y'all, sun will be down here in a little bit. We've been landscaping again today, so I'm really nasty, but I figured before I got a shower, I would do a really quick pruning video on hydrangeas. Now, what I want to tell y'all is I know everybody's itching right now to prune because I know I want to really, really bad. This is not a good time to prune just yet, even though we're in basically late fall, because you want to wait until the plants are fairly dormant or in major dormancy, which is usually going to be anytime between December and probably the end of February or even into March. You'd be okay. But if you do want to go out and cut on some stuff like I'm fixing to do, just don't cut it back much. And the reason you don't want to cut it back too awful much is because since we do here in the South, since we do have those days that are 60, 70 degrees, and then some of the nights drop into the 40s, and we've actually had some in the 20s below freezing. It's what it'll cause is those warm days where you've cut, that plant wants to grow new growth, and so it'll put on some really tender, soft growth, and then before it can harden off, we'll end up having a freeze, and it kills that part. Well, usually if it kills that part that you've pruned off, it can, not that this is a real big deal, but it can kill probably half an inch or so underneath it as well on the hard growth, and that's just simply because it's gotten into the vascular system of the plant. And anytime that you start damaging a plant with accidentally in the vascular system, it basically just invites disease, and then after the disease, that's where a lot of your bugs come. So anyway, if you want to get out there and prune, get your sharp pruners, hand pruners, and the main thing that you want to do on any of these things, especially right now if you're wanting to do a lot, is check for dead branches. Anything that looks dead, crispy, or breaks off, you can get rid of it all the way to the base, as low as to the ground as you possibly can. Most of the time I suggest on just about everything, when you do a cut, try to do it at a 45-degree angle. And all that, the reason that is because when it does rain, or if there's condensate or any kind of dew or whatever that lands on it, it's more likely to try to run off and dry quicker, as opposed to it being a flat cut that it just kind of sits there and puddles up and can cause problems. So all you're going to do on hydrangeas right now, other than removing the dead, is you can basically deadhead them. Okay, so if you don't like the look of these dead blooms, which I mean is kind of cool, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes they could look good, especially the ones that turn off more of a maroon color, but you just want to go below it. I guess probably I'm gonna say above the node that's below the bloom, but if you don't know what that is, basically just cut about an inch or 2 inches below the dead bloom at a 45. So just that simple. All right, and then what we'll do in the spring or in the very late winter, early spring, we can go back and do a harder pruning. I should have mentioned this at the beginning of the video. I do apologize greatly. So hydrangeas can be a little confusing. So listen, this is important. If you happen to have a hydrangea paniculata, big silly fancy word, all that means is if you have a sun hydrangea, one that can tolerate the sun, the shape of the bloom is not completely round. It's more panicle shape, so it's like an egg. Okay, if you have one of those, then in the late winter and spring you can prune those back hard. Reason being is they bloom on new growth. However, if what you're wanting to prune is in the hydrangea macrophylla family, those are the ones, macrophylla, mop head, think MM, a mop, just round mop head looking thing. So they typically are the ones that can be pinks and blues and purples and stuff like that. And they're the ones that don't like as much sun in the evening. If you happen to have one that turns colors, then you don't want to prune it back really hard in the late winter and in the spring, The reason for that is because Hydrangea macrophylla, the pretty colorful ones, they bloom mostly on old wood growth. And so if you prune it back really hard, what you're doing is you're technically taking off these little tear-shaped buds. And when you take those buds off, that bud was eventually going to turn into a branch that was going to produce a flower. So with that being said, even if you do have one of the colorful ones, you could still go out there and deadhead. Just make sure that you cut underneath the dead bloom. Don't cut way far back. Those types of hydrangeas you typically want to prune late summer, you know, before it really turns fall. I like to tell people before Labor Day. That way they haven't started setting their buds yet. So this pruning video is basically for smooth hydrangeas and panicle hydrangeas. If y'all have a question about smooth hydrangeas, I'll try to make a list of the ones that are considered smooth hydrangeas, like the Annabelles. So anyway, I'll do a few more and let you guys go really quick. Super easy. I know a lot of you get a little afraid of the pruning, but y'all, I promise you, if you come to the classes when we go over the pruning, you'll realize it's not near as detrimental to a plant as a lot of people think that it is. All right, so I will finish this one probably tomorrow when the sun comes back out. I'm nasty, I want to shower, and we're fixing to eat pizza. So you guys make sure that you comment, and if you have any questions, just reach out to me. If you're not sure what kind of hydrangea you do have, if you'll send me a picture of the entire shrub and then another picture of the bloom itself, I'll try my very best to determine what kind it is, and that way I could let you know that when we get ready to prune back the panicle and smooth hydrangeas in late winter and in spring, if that is one that you need to prune back, or if it's one of the ones that you need to wait for. So y'all just holler at me later. I'll see y'all hopefully tomorrow with some other pruning videos.